Well, today has been an interesting one. Welcome in, bunch of new subscribers. Welcome to you, and thank you for your continued support, existing subscribers. As I continue to work out where I want this channel to go, the only thing that remains consistent is my love of gaming, all forms, living card games, Magic the Gathering, board games, video games, retro video games specifically, and on the topics that touch them. And it would appear today, and this is something that's been going on for longer than I know of, it's just kind of blowing up today, is that feminism now has targeted the Warhammer 40K community, or more officially targeted it, or it's becoming more known outside of the game. Now, Warhammer 40K is an awesome game. It's a game I've never had enough extra money to play. As you know, it's tough to choose between hobbies. And Games Workshop doesn't make this game very affordable. But I'm seeing a lot of what I saw happen in the Magic the Gathering community 4 years ago. We're seeing a lot of the precursors of where people with these beliefs come in and seek to control the game. They talk about it being about representation, but it's never really about representation. It's always really about control. And I want to look at a couple of things, specifically a poorly written article today I saw. This came out, I believe, today. If I'm incorrect, I hope I'm not. More female representation on the way for 40K. That's fun to say, James Rodriguez. Games Workshop has been doing everything they can to make 40K enjoyable for everyone, and now they'll be focusing more on the females of the universe. Although, okay, well, you could start by making the game more affordable, and I think your gaming base would grow. The female population is definitely on the rise, and it seems more women are getting into both the painting and playing of Warhammer 40K. This is great. I'm happy about this. Games Workshop has said multiple times they're trying to make the game enjoyable for everyone, and it looks like they're still hard at it. There was a recent Facebook post that gave us a little more insight into their plan. So here is their response. And this is a very common, it's the same lingo that was used when folks with these beliefs invaded the Magic community. That there's this fallacy that people don't play games if there's nobody that looks like them in it. And this is just completely false. People don't play games if the games are bad. They don't really care if there's somebody or something that looks like them. It's just not true. And, there aren't any fat neckbeards in Magic the Gathering, yet fat neckbeards like myself make up a huge portion of the population. Hey there, thanks for getting in touch. Female representation in both our rules and models have been the focus of quite a bit of feedback recently. Yeah, probably an organized hate campaign. This feedback has been passed on to the studio, and I can assure you it's been listened to. Speaking to studio managers recently, we are happy to say increased female representation in the background and miniatures, so in the lore and the miniatures, of Games Workshop is a focus right now, and you will start to see more models, art, and rules for female characters in the future. The studio usually works about 3 years in advance, so this is an ongoing process and it won't change overnight. But the ship is turning. You'll notice models like the Inquisitor Greyfax, Neve Black Talon, and Angerhard Brightshield have hit, and loads of artwork in the Astra Militarium Codex, all representing females without the boob plate issue you mentioned. Rest assured, we are aware. Okay? What we have here now is they wanted Warhammer 40K to be enjoyable for everyone, so they made 8th edition. And we've definitely seen an increase in players in our local communities. I don't know. Would you say that's true? My community is dead because most people can't afford it. It's apparent for veteran players that there has been a slow rise on the focus of female players. And it's all a part of Game Workshop's big plan. The rise of a need for female representation has increased significantly lately, especially over the last year. Is there a rise in need? That remains to be seen. This is somebody stating something as fact with no real empirical evidence to prove it. So they want to bring women in. There shouldn't be. We shouldn't be the only women battling at the table. Fine. Nobody doesn't want women playing their games. This is the exact same narrative people used in Magic. And now here we get to how they really feel, right? Alienation, the only part of the player base that would feel alienated by having more women at the gaming table and female models on the tabletop are those you wouldn't want to game with in the first place. You could also make the cast that hygiene standards would improve as well. Oh, sick burn! Believe me, I've seen some disgusting women in my life. This is a necessary move for Games Workshop to make sense. Women are increasingly becoming a market force in gaming. Female gamers since have matched the number of male gamers in video gaming community alone. Yeah, this is a confusing non-fact. Women, there's an enormous amount of people that play Candy Crush, and the overwhelming percentage of people that play games like that are women. And so they lump them together. And I'm sorry, consider people that play Candy Crush gamers. They're time wasters. Are there women who play shooters and RPGs? Of course there is. Is it anywhere near the number of men? No, it's not even close. I don't care what people try to convince you of. They say things like, well, they're matched, but they offer no statistics, right? Let's not go any further down this particular rabbit hole. If you read the comments, you'll see Game Workshop are just assuming that because they don't have D-cup or larger breasts, a slender build, or long locks of hair, they aren't female? I mean, yeah, there's like omnigender characters in this game, more than transgender. Female soldiers ain't exactly curved, so a bunch of heads would do the trick. Yeah, right? I mean, these are all valid points, right? So you can see the community in the beginning, I think, they're pushing back at this, which, again, nobody, it is a fallacy. It is a way for them to gain control. Nobody cares if girls play their games. Okay? Nobody who plays Magic the Gathering gives two ripping shits what gender other people are at the table as long as they're draft fires. The same is true for Warhammer. People just want to play the game they love. And we go to, it's just people are pushing back on Warhammer 40K. They're getting, a lot of people are talking about deleted posts. Here's one. Last night I posted one comment asking not to engage in politics. Not even a mildly controversial post. I fully understand that you can't have profanity or uncivilized posts here, but allowing people like Feminist 40K to label people as harassers who did nothing wrong, I can't help but feel you're isolating some, if not a large portion of your fan base with this kind of behavior. Either all political discourse should be okay or none of it. This comment is great. Either it's all okay or it's not okay. Now, I would personally prefer the latter, that this page would exist to answer questions about the hobby, the web store. In the end, it's your company, your policies. I would simply like to know where we are heading. No reply, of course, right? This is the beginnings of what could be a very scary time for Warhammer players. Scary. I use that ironically, right? But it's nobody likes when they're basically told that they're garbage people or something, right? It's not something that is normally well received. And here we have what looks like a tiny group. It has, where did I see? This is about 1,000 followers or something, right? 1,800. Okay, so mildly growing. It is basically all garbage feminist memes. 36 all-male armies, but last year I had 37. You know, yes, nobody's saying women don't play Warhammer, okay? Nobody's saying that. What we're saying is the game does not rely on certain representation. The game stands on its own. Here's their mission statement. As gaming hobby, of course they have a mission statement, right? We want 40K to be a friendly gaming environment. We can't help but noticing that isn't always so. Citations, please. We feel there is a problem with misogyny within 40K and its community, both in the local gaming environments and online. Many women have said they love 40K, the lore, its models, but are put off by hostility they encounter. Yeah, this is like word for word of the same propaganda that feminists used in the Magic the Gathering community. Wild claims of misogyny and abuse with absolutely no receipts. We also believe they're put up for blah, blah, blah. We want to speak up about the harassment. Yes, of course. Come into our game, feminists who don't even play the game, and tell us how we're terrible people. That always works out well. Here we're talking about, we see, it would be a positive change to better to see non-sexualized representation of female soldiers in the 40K's model range. They have a code of conduct too, of course, so make sure you follow their rules. We insist upon respectful behavior here. Of course, they determine what is respectful. We will not allow discriminatory or derogatory language regarding a person's gender. That's the first thing they mention, too, gender. Isn't that funny? Sexuality, physical and mental ability, religion. If you don't share our goal of making 40K a more comfortable environment, feel free to leave. Now, I'm told that the creator of this group is also a man. So we have ourselves, if that's true, we've got yet another group of a group ran by a male feminist, and that never ends up poorly. That always goes really well. And I'm really feeling bad for the Warhammer community because this is what happened to my community, Magic the Gathering. I think the personality differences in Warhammer and Magic, this is a broad generalization that it's just a guess based on people I know that play both games, but there definitely seems to be a lot more soft personality types playing Magic. Not to say that there aren't any in 40K, but so the whole the feminism message that there's some inherent problem with being born male is better received there. Now, the 40K community seems to be pushing back against this. Now, again, I don't care. This is what they want, right? I don't care if women play the game. I want women to play the game. I don't care if there are women in the game. I want women in the game. But this is exactly how they get their foot in the door. And then they start pointing fingers at everybody and everything and calling it problematic. The Warhammer community is in for a rough ride going forward if they continue to let these ideologies infest their game. And I, for one, am praying for you all and hope that the game stays pure and stays fun for all of you in the face of what will undoubtedly be quite a mess.